Let's talk about relationships. How do you know if you found the right one? Our next guest is going to help us figure that out. She is the author of Choosing Me Before We, and she has 5 ways you can tell he's not Mr. Right, even if your heart tells you he is. Please welcome back, we love her, Arylo. Hi, Christine.
Good to see you again.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you too.
Okay, I love girl chat with you, and you're going to have some man input.
I hope so.
Girl-boy chat.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So why is it that we're always, it seems like, attracted to the bad guy, Mr. Wrong?
I think there's a need that we just want to be loved. I mean, I don't know about either of you, but I haven't met a person who doesn't want to be loved.
We all want to be loved.
And sometimes it's kind of scary to be loved. So I think we pick the bad boy sometimes because it's easier, you know, he's not going to love us totally anyway, so we think we have it figured out. But I think that's how we end up with Mr. Wrong versus Mr. Right.
So it's sometimes like our heart is saying one thing and our head knows better. Can we get those two lined up?
We totally can, but that's the thing, you know, your heart's always going to say, but I love him, I should stay. And you really have to look at the signs that are going on inside of you. And there are signs. We just have to be honest about what our signs are actually telling us.
Let's go through these 5
Let's do the signs.
Okay, your intuition is trying to get your attention.
She's always talking to us. The question is are you listening to what she has to say? And are you doing la 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 la, you know, I can't hear you. So are you getting voices in your head? I've had women come to me and said, I just heard once I met my guy, don't go out with this guy, he's going to ruin your life. And then they married him. You know, or women that before they got married, my stomach hurt, I was sick, I thought it was cold feet, and 5 years later they're divorced. And it was like, wow, your body was trying to tell you something. So if you're hearing things or feeling things, you're not crazy. It's actually your intuition.
Listen to those things, right?
Exactly.
And examine them. What about the blip effect that women get caught up in? What is that?
I was just on the phone with a client talking about this exact thing right before I walked in. And it's this, you're on a roller coaster in your relationship where you're fighting, you're not getting along, something happens, and blip, you guys are on your best behavior. And you think, this is the time you're going to change, this time it's going to be different. And then bloop, you know, right back down. And it's a series of ups and downs. And the thing is, you cannot be with someone's potential, you have to be with who they are.
Do we need to keep reminding ourselves that we can't change people?
You have to. It's one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves. No one, changing is hard. I've changed myself. It was hard work, and I had to do it for myself.
Okay, you talk about talking about relationships. You talk more about him, what, to your friends and stuff, that your dreams and stuff, that means
people
you're not
who
happy?
have great relationships, they don't talk about their relationships. There's nothing to talk about. You talk about your life and what you're doing together. If you are spending more time talking about him and your relationship than talking about you and your dreams, it's a big sign to pay attention to that maybe he's not Mr. Right.
Yeah. How do you go about measuring whether this relationship is making you happy? I mean, is there like a happiness gauge or something?
There is. You know, it's kind of simple. We do all this over-analyzing and complaining and, you know, charting, is he the right one, is he not? And it really comes down to that one question. Am I happy? Yes or no? Not maybe, not sometimes, you know, yes or no. And if the answer is no, you owe it to yourself to say, why am I not happy? Don't blame the guy first. Actually figure it out for yourself and then go to your partner and say, I'm not happy. And this is why. What do we do about this?
Are there people in situations sometimes who, or people I should say, who have been through so many unhappy relationships, they don't know what happy feels like? They don't recognize it when they...
I think so, and that's why it goes back to yourself. So if you're not happy, you can't make it about the other person. First, you have to start with you. And then if you change you, you'll either change that relationship or the relationship will change itself right out of your life.
That's true. That's the choosing me before we.
It's absolutely that.
Now, let's talk about fighting. All couples fight, but how do you know if certain people who fight don't have a future?
Yeah, well, fighting fun and fighting fair, I think, are big parts of good relationships. I fight with my husband. We fight a lot. It's good. It's good. You know, it's good for the relationship. But when it's destructive and disrespectful, or you find yourself in what I call the banshee effect, where you're just lost your mind and you are screaming like a banshee at your partner, that's an indication that maybe there's something unhealthy in the relationship, and you want to go get help. You know, just don't walk in and say, I'm done with you. Go say, you know what, this isn't working, we're fighting too much, let's go get some help and try to work this out.
So let's say you have some of these indicators, these 5 that we mentioned, and you go get help. Is the relationship salvageable?
I think any relationship is salvageable if both people lean in. And this is the biggest thing. People always ask me, what's the one thing, right? The one thing is when you come to someone, so say, Spencer, you and I are in a relationship, and I say, Spencer, I'm not happy. And you really listen to me, you're with me.
Yeah.
If you say, Christine, you're crazy, I know it's all you lean out. That's when you know you don't have a partner. But if that person leans in and says, I want to figure this out, I don't know how, let's work on it together, you have a partner, and that is a potential Mr. Right.
Oh, that's good. So
makes
we
sense.
know what's a Mr. Wrong, besides the fact that he's leaning in and, you know, helping you through all your issues together. What's another sign that he's Mr. Right?
Well, I think it's about your life. You're only in a relationship because it makes you better and it makes your life better. So you have to ask yourself, is this the person who helps me be the best me? Am I getting my dreams in this relationship? If the answer is no, it's probably not the right relationship for you.
They just put up a question and just made me laugh. It said, do men know that they are not Mr. Right? I mean, do they know, like, yeah, I'm a sucky boyfriend? You know, do you think men know that?
I don't know, Spencer, do you think men know that when you're in a relationship?
I can't speak for other men. I've sort of always felt like the right one.
You are a good catch, though.
I don't know.
Yeah, you probably always were the right one. That was it.
Yeah.
You know, Janelle, I think you always know. It's just, are you honest with yourself? And men
See, I
and
just
women,
was.
You are. And men and women, I think we all lie to ourselves because we don't want to go through what would happen if we have to leave the relationship.
Yeah.
It's scary,
Yeah.
but it's more scary to be in a relationship that you're not happy in.
That's true. Christine, thank you so much.
Thank you so
Choosing
much,
you,
Christine.
Spencer.
me before we. Very important.
It is
Thank you so
important.
much.
Absolutely.